Hi friends, I welcome you all to today's session 3 of HR Analytics. So in today's session, let's discuss more about HR Analytics. So the topics covered in today's sessions will be like HR measurements, HR Analytics measurements, and what are the issues, challenges, problems of HR Analytics, as well as we're going to discuss about the levels of analytics, HR Analytics, and the journey, the maturity model of HR Analytics. So here, to start with the session, let's understand what do you mean by HR Analytics measurement or HR measurements. See, from the beginning, I have been telling that in HR Analytics, what gets measured get managed. So here, we have to understand analytics makes you to measure certain aspects. So what are we measuring? So we are measuring our HR activities or HR functions or HR operative areas. So why are we supposed to measure these activities or these areas? So for better performance, better decisions, and for better business outcome, and to bring about certain strategic values ultimately. So to define HR measurements all speaks about how effectively, efficiently you're measuring your HR activities or the functions or the operating areas. Okay, for example, I've already told. So what are the areas that we're measuring here? We are measuring starting from the procurement, so till the maintenance. Okay, what and all comes from the procurement till the maintenance, we are measuring all HR operating areas. Why we are measuring? That's what? Return on investment. We want better investment, better utilization of resources, or better decision making. For these things, for these aspects, we are measuring HR activities. So the one thing is, here you have to keep the three terminologies of HR measurements. One is efficiency, other one is effectiveness, and the impact. Okay, so efficiency speaks what? When you are measuring, you have to look into the efficiency. Efficiency speaks about how better way, that means without any wastage, how you are utilizing the resources. HR activities, how better way without any waste free or effective. Effective speaks next. I'm speaking about the efficiency. Efficiency all speaks about your less wastage and the maximum utilization of your HR activities. So that is the one thing. That is, I've already told the cost aspect. Your efficiency speaks in all the ways of cost aspect. Okay, and effectiveness speaks about your high attainment and the goal attainment. See, if you are efficiently managing there, then speaks about effectiveness. Effectiveness speaks about the goal attainment, high attainment. Once you are utilizing the resources a better way, efficient way, that is waste free way, that means naturally you are going to achieve what? The goal attainment. Higher outcome will be there, output will be there, better performance will be there. Effectiveness speaks about the business outcome. So business outcome in the terms of what? In the terms of high attainment or the result oriented. For example, I'm giving a training. So after training, how I'm seeing my effectiveness, whether the training is the employees, whatever I provided the training, whether they've gained the knowledge. So learning from training. So this is the effectiveness, what I can just say. So efficiency, when I told that, how better I'm utilizing my resources. For example, cost per hire. So for each candidate, so what is the cost per hire? If I'm just start thinking, I'm giving a training. So what is the training cost, training investment? So after training, what is the return I'm getting from that? So like this, if you're calculating, that speaks about the efficiency. And finally speak about one more terminology, that is the impact. So once your efficiency is measured, effectiveness is measured, and finally I'm going to see how that is the impact. I'm going to see my HR activities impact. So impact speaks about your business value. It speaks about your business value or the strategic value. Finally, what value it is creating for HR activities, or that is what it means about the impact here. For example, I'm going to take up various examples of HR analytics measurement, HR measurements. So let's see one by one. The very first one is revenue per employee. So how I'm calculating the revenue per employee? See, naturally, yes, if companies are investing on each individual, I have to calculate what is that individual is generating the revenue. to the company. So that is how the companies start calculating here. So company's revenue, how I'm calculating is company's revenue. I'm taking the company's revenue and dividing that one with number of employees in the company. So total number of employees, how many employees are there? I'm dividing the total number of employees of the company. You understood? How we're doing is revenue per employee. How I'm calculating is company's revenue. So company's total revenue divided by my total employees in the company. So when I divide it, I'm going to get what? Each employees the revenue generation. So how much the employee individually is contributing, how much the revenue he is giving to the company, that we can calculate. So this gives me exactly the measurement here. That is one example. So next one is offer acceptance rate. So what is this offer acceptance rate? Here, number of accepted formal job offers. How many individuals are accepting the job offered? Okay, I have given the advertisement, so number of applicants I have received. So how many formally they have accepted the job? That one is divided by the total number of job offer given in a certain period. So dividing what? Total number of job offer given in a certain period. When I do this calculation, I am going to know about the company's offer ratios, that is whether it is managed efficiently, what. So it determines the ratios efficiency here. Okay, that we call it as what? Offer acceptance rate. Next one is training expenses per employee. Training expenses per employee. How I am calculating the training expense per individual? Okay, here total training expense. Okay, I am taking the total training expense divided by the number of employees who receives training. So total, what is the total training expense occurring? So that is divided by number of employees who are attending the training. So this gives me the training expense per individual. So afterwards I can just speak out in the terms of efficiency, effectiveness and the impact. So this gives me the picture about the measurements, HR measurements. The next example is training efficiency. So I'm investing there on each individual. So I want to check the efficiency. So training efficiency. So how I'm calculating the training efficiency? After training, like I'm going to look their learning skills, whether they have updated with the skills there, whether their performance has been improved really, or what is the score they are scoring in the test. Aptitude, attitude, whatever it is. So I'm going to check their test score or the transition employees role. That's what I told now. Their attitude, behavioral transformation, whatever it is. After the training, I'm just going to look their efficiency. I'm going to look their efficiency. That is what training has really given to them in the terms of either it can be the performance or the test score or the transition in the employee's role. The next example is voluntary turnover rate. So how I am going to calculate the voluntary turnover rate? Those individuals who are quitting the organization self, that we call it as voluntary turnover rate. How I am doing that? How I am calculating is number of employees who voluntarily leave. Okay, how many number of employees are voluntarily leaving? Okay, that has been divided by total number of employees in the organization. So very simple calculation to find out my voluntary turnover rate. How I am doing is voluntary, how many employees are leaving, that has been divided by total number of employees in the organization. The next is involuntary turnover rate. So it's a vice versa. Involuntary turnover rate is very simple. That is again number of employees who are involuntarily left. That has been divided by the total number of employees in the organization. Okay. And next, time to fill. Okay, how I am calculating the time to fill? So number of days between advertisement, whatever the advertisement I am giving, okay, the advertisement period to the job opening and the hiring someone, okay, that gap is there, na? That I call it as what? Time to fill. So number of days between advertising a job opening and hiring someone to fill that position. So what is that period taking na? From advertisement time to the hiring time. Okay, someone I'm just filling to that place na. So that we call it as a time to fill. So this is again one of the way to measure the HR activities. Next one, time to hire. So it again speaks about when to hire. Okay, here number of days between approaching a candidate. Okay, number of days between approaching a candidate and the candidate acceptance of the job offer. Okay, that is the number of days the candidate is approaching and the candidate accepting the job offer. That is how we calculate the time to hire. And the next one is absenteeism. So how I am calculating the absenteeism is number of days missed by the total number of scheduled workers. So how many number of days, okay, he has been missed that by the total number of scheduled workers. That is how I am just calculating here. And human capital risk, of course. So when I'm just measuring all those things, HR activities or the functions or the operating areas, I have to calculate certain human capital risk here. So capital risk speaks about like absenteeism or the lack of qualified employees, etc. like this. So these are the various examples what we have just taken with the formulas to calculate, and it gives about how we are measuring our HR areas or the operations or the functions. So this all speaks about our HR measurement. The next stages of analytics. The next concept is stages of analytics. We can also call it as levels of analytics. So there are three stages, what we can call it as three stages or three levels of analytics, what we can say. The very first stage is reporting. I am just reporting what happened. Very first stage is reporting what happened. The next second stage is analyzing and monitoring that. Whatever I have just reported, what happened, what I am doing is analyzing and monitoring. That means why did it happen? Okay, and what is happening now presently? What is happening now presently? And the next stage, the third stage is predictive analytics. That means what can happen in the future. So these are the three beautiful stages or the levels of analytics, where with example, I just want to give the examples here. Previous one, that is reporting. Reporting is, for example, I have taken absenteeism. So what happened? Absenteeism. There is a high rate of absenteeism or attrition. So there is a high rate of attrition that is happening in the company. Absenteeism, attrition, or performance, there is a low performance in the employees, etc., etc. So I am analyzing and monitoring why it is happening, why there is a lots of absenteeism, high rate of absenteeism is there, or high rate of attrition is there, and I am going to check with that presently why it is happening now, what is happening now. I am going to measure that. And finally, keeping that, okay, the data, I am just going to predict in the future what can happen, whether I can minimize the attrition or I can minimize the absenteeism. So what action I can take. The next slide. Here, what we speak is HR analytics maturity model. Okay, that was the levels. Okay, here I am speaking about the models here. Okay, so models is the very first, the model what it speaks, the beautifully it is explained by various authors, gives various models here. One is the reactive. The very first stage one is reactive. Okay, we can call it as what we called in the levels now, reporting. So here in the reactive, what I do is operational reporting. Whatever the HR operational areas comes now, I am just going to report that. Okay, I am just reacting to the HR activities, functions of the operations, what is happening. So that I am just reporting. That I call it as a reactive stage, I call it. And in the second stage, I have been proactive there. I am reacting in the previous stage, and the next one is I am proactive. Proactive is something advanced reporting. I am reporting advancedly. Okay. And next one is stage 3 is strategic analytics. I am applying my strategic analytics there. Okay, with some data is available, I am just making some strategic master plans to avoid that. And finally, the fourth one is predictive analytics. And finally, fourth one was predictive. I am just predicting the future. So very thing is, first is reactive, the second one is proactive, and next one is the strategic, and the very next one is predictive. So I am just reacting to the situation. After me reacting, there's a proactive actions being taken. After proactive actions, there are some strategic analytics are there. After the strategic analytics, there is a predictive analytics is there. To explain this maturity model or HR analytics journey, we can also take the explanation in this way also. The one is basic reporting. The very first, the model of a journey is I am just reporting. That is a data. Okay, I am taking the data and I am just reporting. I'll just give you the example in the coming explanation. And then next, after me giving the basic reporting, what I'm doing is advanced reporting. That's what I told now. I'm reacting, and next one is proactive. So proactive is nothing but your advanced reporting. That is, I'm interpreting whatever the data I had. I'm just interpreting. For example, I had the data about the attrition. So I'm just interpreting the attrition like in the percentage or in the numbers, okay, how much rate the attrition is happening. So that is my interpretation, what I'm just giving. That I call it as what? Advanced reporting. That is a proactive one. Next one is analytics. That strategic analytics, what we spoke in the previous, I call here it as analytics. That is inside. I am just going inside into it. That is 5%. That is among that attrition, how many efficient persons or non-efficient persons have been leaving the job or quitting the job. That I am going to have the insight in this particular stage. And the next last one is predictive analytics. That is the foresight. That is predicting the future. So in the coming years or the next 2 years, what might be the attrition rate? So the next is, that's what ultimately the summary of this HR maturity model, what it gives us is to understand is what happened, what did it happen, or why did it happen, what is happening now, what can happen. So these are the 3 questions from the levels. So we are deriving from the levels of analytics, and we are making that levels to the journey here. So that's what I told now. Basic, first one is the very basic reporting. That is the reporting, that is the data. That is example I'm just giving is 180 staff resigned from the company last month. So that is the data what I'm having. That is 180 staff resigned from the company last month. So that is a basic reporting what I'm doing. Okay. And next one is that is reactive, okay, and next one is advanced reporting. Advanced reporting is interpreting. I'm interpreting, that is attrition rate increased by 8% over the last year. Okay, with the data, with the present data, I'm just giving interpretation that attrition rate increased by 8% over the last year. Okay, and next comes, that was a proactive, and next comes the analytics. Analytics is, that is my strategic analytics insight. I'm going inside into the picture there. 5% of staff that resigned are in critical roles. So those who are leaving the job or attrition, what I'm saying, among that staffs or the employees are in the critical roles. Okay, the 5%, what I can just take it from the data, what it is giving me. And next one, the last one is predictive analytics. So predictive analytics speaks about the foresight, about the future. So attrition rate will increase by 10% over the next 2 years in the, that is what is the present happening. So we can predict in the coming years, it can happen the next, that is going to increase in the next 2 years. So next concept what we're going to discuss is HR analytics challenges in the system. So what are the challenges what we come across? Okay, in HR analytics. So you are supposed to accept these challenges, and there are also few problems also. We know one way we speaks about the importance and benefits. So what are the advantages of this HR analytics? At the same time, on the same journey, we too have certain few challenges or the issues and the problems also. So that we are going to discuss in the session. So the very first one is traditional HR mindset. These are the challenges. Very first one is traditional HR mindset. Yes, of course. That's what I told now. HR functions, when we take most of our HR activities or the operating areas of HR have been measured in the software aspect. Okay, earlier traditionally it was measured in a very softer aspect, but today because of this analytics, if you want to apply the analytics in your core functional areas like HR analytics, we need the data. So we did the quantitative numbers in all the HR areas, HR activities, what we are just following, we need the data. So that is the harder aspect. So that is the one thing. So these are the challenges. So most of the companies should be ready to give the data, whether it is functionally you are pulling the data or cross-functionally you are pulling the data of your HR functions. They should be ready to provide you the data that is in the form of a quantitative numbers. So that is one of the biggest challenge of the company. The second one is organization internal limitations with the 3 building blocks of analytics. There are few limitations within the organization with respect to our building blocks of analytics. For example, data. Okay, whether organizations are keeping the data available. Whatever data I ask, whether for the last 6 months data or 1 year data, 5 years data, whatever data. So they should be ready to provide me the data in all HR areas or HR functions. Next, technology limitation is there. So whether they are updating with the technology. And next one is competency, whether the organizations are competent people to handle analytics. They are having that sufficient knowledge in the domain areas, that is vertical, horizontal knowledge. They have been equipped. So that's the question what arises here. So one of the other challenges, internal, that is the organizations, they are having limitations with 3 building blocks of HR analytics, that is the data, technology, competency. Next, high investment cost. Of course, one of the challenges, most of the companies have to invest a lot on these technological softwares, analytical softwares. So whether the companies are ready to invest, so that is one of the challenges. If I am investing, how betterly I am making decisions in my HR activities. I have invested on analytics, okay fine. Now I have to make a decisions now, whatever that analytics is giving or saying, stating. So I have to apply in my decision making process. Can I apply? Because HR is more all about softer aspect. So when I take it this harder aspect and making a judgment with data, does it really work with human beings? That is also one of the biggest question. So high investment cost. If I am investing, whether I am supposed to make whatever the data is giving, whatever the computer is giving me the data statistics, I have to make the decision. So keeping those decisions and implementing on the human beings, whether it is going to really work it out. So that is one of the biggest challenge. And next one, high operational cost. Yes, in all your HR activities or the functions, operating areas, it incurs cost, because you have got so many areas are there, so many functions are there. So in all each areas, the cost is there. So that is also one of the biggest challenge. Holding information. Yeah, holding information. How many companies are keeping the informations ready? Available, readily available. So as I've already told, they should have all the data, present data, past data, and the predicting future data. So all this readily available, holding data. So that is the one biggest challenge. And broad data. Yes. If I say HR analytics, if I am just applying in all my analytical, that is my operating areas or the functional areas, I require the broad data. Suppose if a company is very small company, so small companies doesn't maintain any data. So not possible. Whereas big companies, I can expect the huge data because they've got vast functional areas. So readily available, the data are readily available. So I can say, yes, it is possible. But what about the small organizations? So it is not possible. So that is one of the challenge. Analysis skills. Yes, we have good HR personnel working in the company, but these HR personnel are updated with analytical knowledge. They are HR domains, right? But I'm speaking about horizontal, that is statistical skill, little bit of data science. So this I have to check whether really competent people are available in my company to handle this data analytics. So this is one of the biggest question, analysis skills. Next, big data and not so big. That's what I told now. It requires very huge data. So not small data. And big data you can expect only in the bigger organization, not in the small organization. Assessment in hiring. Yeah, assessment in hiring. That's what I told now. Computer is making major decisions. So can I keep those decision factors, data factors, and start hiring, or start giving the training, or start inducting the people, or start doing my performance appraisal? So these questions arises. So these are the true challenges assessing in various HR functional areas. And curiosity, of course, there are lots of curiosities there. So what next? Because decision, we are making the decision from the data, so lots of curiosity will be there. Next one is, the next concept what we're going to discuss is valuing HR analytics in the organizational system. How I am going to value HR analytics in the organizational system. It's very simple. I'm just going to skip this explanation because it's been already discussed in your measurement, HR measurement examples, what I took now. So those examples, I'm just going to repeat it. Those formulas now, like revenue per employee, offer acceptance rate, training expense per employee, training efficiency, voluntary turnover rate, voluntary turnover rate, involuntary turnover rate, time to fill, time to hire, absenteeism, and human capital risk. So these are the examples. So by these fundamental formulas, I can just give me the value of HR analytics. I can give the values of HR analytics. Next, coming to the last topic of today's session, that is the typical problems of HR analytics. So what are the problems of HR analytics? Let's see the problems. So those were the challenges, and now the problems. So what are the problems we are going to face in HR analytics? The very first one is bringing together data from many different places. That's what I told now. You require huge data, whether it is functionally or cross-functionally. You have to pull the data from various functions. So this is getting it together is from the different places. Again, it can be internal or external organization. That's what I told now. Data, we have two types of data: internal data, external data. So managing and pulling all this data, it's very difficult again. So bringing the data together, okay, from the many different places is quite a problem. Okay. The next one is lack of data analytics skills within HR. That's what I told. This is also one of the problem. We do have a good HR personnel, okay, but we are lacking what? Skill, competency to handle the data science. So this competency has to be fulfilled. So that has been lacking, and that is one of the problem. Okay, we are having the domain persons, but to the data science knowledge, that is horizontally acquired skilled people, we are lacking. And next one, insufficient IT resources for HR data analytics. Even though we say to do this the HR analytics, we does not require much IT integration. Okay, it's very easily accessible, all do we say, but somewhere when it speaks in terms of resources, okay, companies to provide this IT facilities to the HR, okay, there we have insufficient IT resources for HR data analytics. So not being much provided, very vague, that's what I can just say. And next one is worries about privacy and compliance. The next problem is, yes, because you are pulling the data, okay, employees data has been pulled. So those data are going to really reveal, they are going to reveal the employees privacy and the compliance. So there lies real problem, because the data, when you are taking the data of the people data, that's what I told you, ultimately you are playing with the HR analytics, you have to play with the people data. So if I am playing with the people data, there most of the employees privacy has been open, it's been open, that means transparent. So there the compliance comes, the worries about the employees privacy or the compliance comes into the picture. That is also one of the biggest problem. And the last one is taking the human out of human resources. Here, that's what I told now, when it comes to the decision making, most of the decisions are not based on human. It's not based on the software aspect. It is based on the hardware aspect, what my computer says or what my data says. So keeping those data, I have to judge my human beings there. So that is one of the biggest problem. I cannot judge by the statistics. Human behavior cannot be ultimately judged by the statistics. So that is also one of the biggest problem. So taking the human, it has been taking the human out of human resource. So that is one of the biggest problem here. So friends, so by this we are ending the session 3. Hope it was interesting. I am just recalling what we did in this today's session, beginning from the HR measurement. So first we spoke about the HR measurement. Okay, literally HR measurement speaks about what? It speaks about the values of your HR activities in the terms of efficiency, effectiveness and impact. Okay, and I've already given various examples. And the next we spoke about the stages of analytics or levels of analytics, which speaks about starting from the reporting. After reporting, you're analyzing and you're monitoring, and then it gives you the predictive analytics. And finally, then we came from the levels, we derived the HR maturity model. So HR maturity model speaks about, one, you have to be reactive. So once you are reactive, you have to be proactive. After being proactive, then you have to come with the strategic analytics. Keeping those strategic analytics, you have to make some predictive analytics. So those were the journey of your HR maturity model. Or else I have already also told that from the data, okay, from the data, what I do, keeping those data, I am interpreting. After interpreting from the data, interpretation gives me the insight. From the insight, I am getting the foresight. That also can be, we can say, the HR maturity journey. So that is what? Data. So data, I am making the interpretation. Interpretation is giving me the insight, and insight is giving me the foresight. So that is also one of the way to explain the HR maturity journey. And next we came about the HR analytics challenges. What are the challenges we spoke? Okay, so there were many challenges, and once we spoke about the challenges, we discussed regarding to the problems. Okay, problems of HR analytics. So thank you, friends.